Hello everyone, myself Kishore Pherde, Mechanical Engineering Department, Shivajirao Ajondha Polytechnic, Assamgaon. In this video, we will discuss about fuel injection system. So fuel injection, learning outcomes. Learner will familiarize with modern fuel injection system. Learner will understand construction and working of DMPFI and LMPFI system. Also, learner will able to differentiate between DMPFI and LMPFI system. Fuel injection introduction. Fuel injection is a system for introducing fuel into the internal combustion engines and in automotive engines in particular. It is always indirect, petrol being injected into the intake manifold or port rather than directly into combustion chamber. This ensures that fuel is well mixed with air before it enters into the chamber. So, primary difference between carburetor and fuel injection is that the fuel injection atomizes the fuel through the small nozzle under high pressure, whereas a carburetor relies on suction created by intake air accelerated through a venturi tube to draw a fuel into the system. So, the purpose of this system is to supply proper air-fuel mixture to each cylinder of engine. This injection system is mainly having two types: the port injection, that is MPFI, and the throttle injection. So dear students, we will discuss these systems in detail. Port injection system. So in port injection system, the injector is fitted in the intake manifold near the inlet valve. The uniform mixture form enters into the cylinder. So every cylinder is provided with the separate fuel injector in multi-cylinder engine. So the figure shows the port injection system in which the number of fuel injector is equal to the number of cylinders present. Next, the throttle injection system. In throttle injection system, single injector is used like a single carburetor. Throttle valve controls the amount of air entering into the intake manifold. Injector is placed above the throat of the body and injected fuel mixes with air. Then this mixture passes into the intake manifold. So the fuel injected is controlled as per the speed and load on the engine. So this figure shows the throttle body injection system in which the fuel is supplied, then the air fuel mixture will be enters into the intake manifold. At the throttle body, the injector is present. Then we will study the DMPFI system. So D stands for drunk in German word. It called as a pressure. So in DMPFI system, the pressure sensor in the intake manifold detects the intake manifold vacuum and sends the signal to the ECU, that is electronic control unit. The speed sensor is also present. That speed sensor sends the signal about the speed of the engine to the ECU. So ECU processes the information received and sends the proper signal to the injector. So injector will regulate the amount of petrol supply for the injection. So after injection that petrol mixes with the air in the intake manifold and that mixture will enters into the cylinder. So here the block diagram for the DMPFI system: vacuum sensor which sends signal to the ECU. The speed sensor also gives the information about the speed of the engine to the ECU and according to that, the fuel injector will supply the petrol into the intake manifold, as well as whatever the air which will comes into the intake manifold, that will mixes with the fuel, and that air fuel mixture will be enter into the engine. So this is the DMPFI system. Next, LMPFI system. L stands for Luft, means the mass of air. So in LMPFI system, it consists of airflow meter, which regulate the amount of air entering into the cylinder. So this airflow sensor measures the amount of air enters in the intake manifold. So this airflow sensor sends the signal to the ECU. Also, speed sensor is present, which sends the information about the speed of the engine to the ECU. That ECU will get processes the information received and sends the proper signal to the injector. So injector regulate the amount of petrol supply for the injection. And after injection, the petrol mixes with the air in the intake manifold and the mixture enters in the cylinder. So this figure shows the block diagram for LMPFI system, in which the air volume sensor is present, which gives the information to the ECU about the quantity of air. Similarly, speed sensor is also present, which gives the information to the ECU about the speed of engine. And according to the information received by these sensors, the ECU will processes and gives a signal to the fuel injector to control the fuel. So this fuel injector will supply the fuel according to quantity of the air and the speed of the engine. The throttle valve controls the amount of air entering into the cylinder. So in this way, through the intake manifold, the air fuel mixture will be entered into the engine. So dear students, now we will discuss differentiate between DMPFI and LMPFI system. So DMPFI is a manifold injection system, whereas LMPFI is the port injection system. In DMPFI system, the vacuum in the intake manifold and volume of air by its density are same in this type of the system. In LMPFI system, fuel metering is regulated by the engine speed and amount of air that actually enters into the engine. So here it shows the block diagram for the DMPFI system, and this is the representation of block diagram for LMPFI system. Also, in DMPFI system, as air enters into the intake manifold, manifold pressure sensor detects the intake manifold vacuum and sends the information to the ECU. In LMPFI system, as air enters into the intake manifold, airflow sensor measures the amount of air and sends the information to the ECU. So, advantages of MPFI system. As we know, engine requires different air-fuel ratio at different operating conditions, at part or full load, acceleration, etc. This system will satisfy all the conditions and provides required amount of air-fuel mixture at different conditions, result in the best performance. As there is a no venturimeter, as in carburetor, so there is a smooth flow of the air, hence the volumetric efficiency increases. Low problem of icing and vapor lock. Easy starting. In multi-cylinder engine, air-fuel ratio will be supplied to all the cylinders in same quantity. Also, as required air-fuel ratio supplied at different conditions, the exhaust emission will be lower and more power developed. Improved BSFC means brake specific fuel consumption, and due to which it results in better mileage of an automobile. So dear students, in this way we had learned the fuel injection system in this video. The question on this fuel injection system: differentiate between DMPFI and LMPFI system, explain DMPFI system with needs gauge, describe the LMPFI system with needs gauge. So I hope all of you now able to solve these questions. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you.